Let me ask you something before you scroll on. How many times have you been almost chosen? Not rejected outright, that's clean, at least. I mean the other thing. The being kept around thing. The slow ache of being someone's maybe, their backup plan. The person they came back to when the other options went quiet, and disappeared on the moment something shinier flickered. You were good enough to want, just never quite enough to choose. I want to talk to you about that tonight. And I want to be honest with you in a way that's rare for a video like this. So I am not going to tell you that a specific person is out there right this second, cutting people out of their life for you, weeping over your photo. I don't know that. Nobody does, and anyone who swears they do is just telling you a bedtime story. But there's something true I can tell you, and it might be the thing you actually needed to hear. You were always worth choosing. The people who didn't weren't holding up a verdict on your worth. They were holding up a mirror to their own readiness. That's the difference. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Here's the trap you've probably been living inside without naming it. When someone doesn't choose you, your mind does this cruel little math. It assumes the problem is you. That if you'd been prettier, calmer, more interesting, less needy, more mysterious, easier to love, they would have stayed. They would have picked you. So you start editing yourself, shrinking, performing a version of you that you think might finally be choosable. And the heartbreak underneath the heartbreak is this: even when you shrink, even when you perform, it still doesn't work. Because the thing that made them not choose you was never about your size. It was about their capacity. Some people cannot choose someone fully. Not yet. Not you, not anyone. They not ready, or they not healed, or they addicted to the chase, or they scared of the very thing they say they want. And a person like that will keep you close precisely because you easy to come back to, and keep their distance precisely because you worth more than they ready to hold. Read that again if you need to. You weren't passed over for being too little. You were held at arm's length for being too much to handle for someone who hadn't done their work. If this is landing somewhere real, do me a small thing. Comment, I was always worth choosing, below, like the video so it reaches the next person who forgot, and subscribe, because I am not finished. There's more in this one. Okay, stay with me. I want to draw a line between two words that get tangled up, because I think you've been settling for the wrong one for years. Wanted and chosen. Being wanted is a feeling someone has about you. It's a pull. It's chemistry, attraction, the heat of the moment, the late night text. Being wanted is real and it's lovely, and it is also, on its own, almost worthless. Because wanting is passive. It happens to a person. They don't have to do anything. They can want you and never show up. Want you and still leave. Want you and choose someone else anyway. You've been wanted plenty. I bet on it. That's not what's been missing. Being chosen is different. Being chosen is a decision. It's a verb. It's someone looking at the full picture of you, the good mornings and the hard ones, the easy parts and the parts that take patience, and saying, on purpose, this one. I am staying for this one. And then doing it again the next day, and the next. Choosing is wanting that grew a backbone. You don't need more people who want you. You've had those. You need one who chooses you, and keeps choosing, on the ordinary Tuesdays when nothing's on fire. And here's the news I actually came to deliver. You will not recognize that person, you might not even let them in, until you stop accepting being merely wanted as if it were the same thing. Let me tell you what real choosing actually looks like, because I think the dramatic version has confused you. It's quiet. That's the secret nobody puts in a thumbnail. Real choosing doesn't announce itself with a grand purge of everyone else from their life. It doesn't need fireworks. It looks like consistency so steady it's almost boring. It looks like someone who texts back, who says what they mean, who doesn't keep you guessing, because keeping you guessing was never love, it was control wearing love's coat. You spent so long mistaking intensity for devotion. The hot and cold one felt like passion because your nervous system was on high alert all the time, and you called that adrenaline love. But adrenaline isn't love. It's the body bracing for the next disappointment. Real love is the opposite of bracing. It's the exhale. It's the relief of finally not having to perform, not having to earn, not having to wonder where you stand. When someone chooses you fully, the loudest thing about it is the peace. So when you go looking for the moment someone realizes you were worth choosing, don't look for the dramatic cut off, the tearful return, the big scene. Look for the calm one. Look for the person around whom your shoulders finally drop. That stillness is the sound of being chosen. You've just been so used to noise that you might walk right past the quiet. Can I tell you what I think the past was actually for? Not to break you, to train your eye. Every person who didn't choose you taught you what it feels like to not be chosen, the specific texture of it, the little signs, the pit in your stomach when they pull back. The way you explain to someone who's already half gone. The exhausting effort of trying to be enough for a person who decided, somewhere deep down, that no one ever would be. You know that feeling now. You know it in your body. And that knowing is a gift, even though it cost you more than it should have. Because the next time it shows up, the explaining, the bracing, the chasing, some quiet part of you is going to recognize it and say, no. Not again. I know where this road goes. That recognition is your worth talking. It's the part of you that finally believes you deserve to be chosen, refusing to spend one more year being someone's maybe. The ache wasn't wasted. It was tuition. And you nearly graduated. I want to sit with the lonely part for a second, because I don't want to skip it. There's a particular grief in realizing you would have chosen them in a heartbeat. That you were ready, you were all in. You have walked through anything, and they just weren't there in the same way. You loved with both hands. They loved with their fingers crossed. And the cruelest thought sneaks in on the bad nights. Maybe I am just someone who loves people more than they love me back. I need you to hear me on this one. That is not a curse. That is a capacity. The ability to love fully, to choose someone with your whole chest, to stay loyal when it would be easier to leave. That is the rarest, most valuable thing a person can carry into a relationship. It only felt like a flaw because you kept handing it to people who couldn't match it. $100 bill isn't worthless because you tried to spend it somewhere that only took coins. You just need the right register. The same loyalty that's been breaking your heart is going to be the thing that makes someone weak in the knees with gratitude one day. Don't you dare let the wrong people convince you to love smaller. Just get more careful about who you hand it to. Have you noticed something shifting in you lately? Be honest. A little less willingness to chase. A little more comfort in walking away from a conversation that's making you feel small. A new, almost startling ability to look at someone you used to long for and feel, not nothing, but less. Less pull. Less ache. More clarity. If you felt that, you already understand where this is going. You don't have to force it. That shift is the realization happening inside you, the one this whole video is about. You the one who's finally realizing you were worth choosing all along. And once you truly know it, you stop auditioning for people who haven't figured it out yet. That's the moment. It was never going to be a phone call from your past. It was always going to be this. A quiet morning where you catch yourself believing you deserve better, and not arguing with the thought. Let me talk about loyalty for a minute, because I think it's been misunderstood in your story. You've been loyal to people who didn't earn it. Loyal to potential. Loyal to the version of someone they showed you once and then never became again. You kept the faith for two. You stayed available, hoping that if you were patient enough, devoted enough, good enough, they'd finally rise to meet you. That's not a character flaw, but it was aimed wrong. Here's the truer shape of loyalty, the one that's about to start working in your favor. Loyalty begins at home. Before you can be rightly loyal to a partner, you have to be loyal to yourself, to your own peace, your own standards, your own knowing. You have to stop betraying yourself to keep someone who was never staying. And the second you start being loyal to yourself first, something strange happens. The people who could only love you when you were self-abandoning lose their grip. They feel you stop chasing and they panic, because the dynamic they relied on is gone. And the people capable of real love, they lean in. Because steady, self-respecting people are magnetic to other steady people, and unbearable to the ones who needed you small. Your loyalty isn't the problem. The order was the problem. Yourself first. Then everything else falls into its right place. There's an old line that stuck with me, and I'll offer it plainly, just once. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast. Read it slowly sometime. Then hold your past relationships up against it, not to condemn anyone, just to see clearly. Was it patient with you? Kind to you? Or was it always keeping score, always making you feel like you were losing a competition you never agreed to enter? You don't have to keep auditioning for love that fails its own definition. You're allowed to want the patient kind, the kind one, the one that chooses you out loud. I want to give you something to watch for, so you'll catch it when it comes. There's going to be a moment, maybe soon, where someone treats you well, and your first instinct is to flinch, to distrust it, to wait for the catch, the cooling off, the part where they pull away like everyone before them. Because your body learned that being treated well was the setup before the letdown. When that happens, I want you to notice the flinch, and then stay anyway. Don't run from the calm just because chaos is what you used to. Don't sabotage the steady one because steadiness feels unfamiliar and unfamiliar feels unsafe. Some of the best love of your life is going to feel suspiciously easy at first, and your old wiring is going to whisper that easy means boring, means wrong. It's not wrong. It's just peace, and you've been a stranger to it for so long you forgot its face. The moment someone realizes you were worth choosing all along is going to ask only one thing of you, that you be there to be chosen. That you don't disappear into the old story right as the new one's beginning. Stay. Let it be easy. You earned easy. So here's the news, said plainly, the way I say it to you across a table at 2 in the morning. You were never the problem. You were the one capable of choosing fully in a room of people who couldn't. That made you lonely for a while. It was never going to make you unlovable. The people who didn't choose you weren't ranking you and finding you short. They were standing at a door they weren't ready to walk through, and you mistook their fear for your failure. Set that down. It was never yours to carry. And the one who does choose you, the patient one, the kind one, the steady, unbearing, blessedly, easy one, is going to get the version of you that finally knows its own worth. They're going to feel like they got away with something. Like the world made a mistake in their favor. And they be right. Before you go, let this settle. You spent so long trying to become someone worth choosing that you never noticed you already were. The whole time. On the worst nights. In the unflattering light. Through the chasing and the shrinking and the loving. Too much. Worth choosing. The entire way through. The realization at the center of this video was never going to belong to someone in your past. It was always going to be yours. The moment you realize you were the one worth choosing all along, that's the moment everything turns. Because a person who knows their own worth stops waiting to be picked. They start picking themselves. And the strangest, most beautiful thing happens next. That's exactly when the right person finally sees you clearly. So stop scanning your past for the one who'll come back and finally get it. Turn around. Look at the life in front of you, the quiet strength you built while you thought you were only surviving. The person worth choosing has been here the whole time. You looking right at them every time you pass a mirror. And what you beginning to understand now, about your worth, about the difference between being wanted and being chosen, about the love that's still coming for the real, unshrunk, unhidden. You, is something you, never going to be able to unknow. Not this time.